these 200,
Yes, Your Honor.
these 200.
Yes, Your Honor.
242 vacancies were kept apart.
The rest of the result had been published.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now it is only a question of how these 200 vacancies which have been kept apart have to be allocated.
Yes, Your
Am I
Honor.
right?
One more submission. The results were published separately. First, they published the result for the entire nation except for the state of Kerala. Thereafter, after 2 or 3 days, setting apart 242 vacancies, 200 vacancies as per the orders of the Honorable Court, as well as another 42 vacancies were also kept apart. And it was published separately. And this 1,808 candidates male were only considered for that result publication. And so this confusion with respect to the entire nation will not arise with respect to the results of Kerala.
We'll consider. Let me
Yes.
hear the.
Madam, as he told that we had published the result of all the states except the state of Kerala on
Correct.
21st January 2021.
Correct.
Because there was stay on the declaration
Correct.
of result for the
Correct.
state of Kerala.
Correct.
Within 2-3 days of declaration of result, that stay was vacated.
Correct.
And then
Stay wasn't vacated, it was
yes,
confined
yes,
to the
yes, and we would
persons
also
who-
keep
yes.
these vacancies aside, and then we process the result, and the result for the state of Kerala was declared on 28th January 2021, Your Honor.
Correct.
Wherein 242, as he told, that 242, 13 female and 229 male vacancies, they were kept unfilled due to various court orders, Your Honor.
Okay.
So now we process the result without considering these vacancies.
242 and 229.
No, Your Honor, total 242. Out of
Total
242,
242 vacancies were kept apart.
yes,
And
30,
the results were published in respect
yes,
of
Your
all
Honor.
the other
Yes,
vacancies.
Your Honor.
Now therefore, the remaining is the filling up of these 242
Yes,
vacancies.
Your Honor. But Your Honor, now to process the result, we require exact number of vacancies as well as the list of candidates who are to be considered, because allocation has to be made, because allocation is for multiple forces.
Correct.
If it is for a single force,
Correct.
it does not matter. If
Correct.
vacancies are kept aside, we can simply pick the candidates who are at the bottom and we can allocate them to the whatever, only one force is there. But in this case, there were 8 forces. So therefore, for making allocation, we require the list of candidates as well as we require the exact number of vacancies also. Now, for BSF in OBC category, we had kept 23 vacancies unfilled. Now, let us say there is a candidate at merit list number 200. His second preference is BSF. His third preference is ITBP. Now, his second preference, because those vacancies 23, now vacancies were 23 less. Now, that vacancy got over exhausted, and that candidate could not be selected for BSF, and he has been allocated ITBP. So now,
Okay.
if now these vacancies are now, if we assume that these vacancies are to be filled up, then there's 200 candidates at the merit list number 200. Then his first right is to get selected for BSF. So now, Your Honor, this result was declared in January 2021. Then candidates have joined.
They have all
80%
joined.
of candidates, they have completed their training. So now at this stage now, if that candidate is shifted from ITBP to BSF, then it will cause huge chaos, administrative convenience, and there will be financial issues, and there will be absolute chaos everywhere, Your Honor. That is why, Your Honor, we are not able to fill up these vacancies, Your Honor.
So we'll have to find a way how this can be done without causing violence to the appointments which have already been made.
Yes.
Am I right? We'll have to find a way to fill up these 242 vacancies which have been kept apart without doing violence to the appointments which have already been made.
And one more.
Therefore, the options which have already been made and which have already been exercised by the candidates, that will probably have to remain without being shifted.
Yes.
And then we'll have to consider these 242 vacancies for appointment from the available candidates, from those who have
Yes.
qualified.
Now the
And-
conflict is between those people who have already entered the service and those people standing outside.
I understand. Yes.
Now, Your Honor, actually, now these candidates, now who are not selected, they are certainly below the last candidate. Their merit is certainly below the last candidate who has been selected. Now, if we allot that candidate, if we do not disturb those candidates who have, these are 1504 or whatever candidate which are already selected, if we do not disturb them, and if we allocate the candidate who is now first, who was below the last
Correct.
candidate selected, now he is
Correct.
first, if
Correct.
we allocate him his first preference, his first preference, let us say, is CISF.
Correct.
If he is allocated CISF, then our our rules of examination to allot candidate in the manner of merit cum preference that could get violated, Your Honor.
Can I say something in reply? There was no comprehension. We did not consider a situation where some of the vacancies would have to be set apart for filling up later at all. The intention was that the entire 1,808 vacancies would be considered as one block and it would be filled.
Yes,
This is
Your
how the selection was comprehended. Now there came a situation where there were contentions raised with regard to the conduct of the RME, apparently with material, because many of the RMEs have now resulted in a situation where people have been appointed,
Yes,
have been
yes.
found fit
Yes.
in the review RME conducted. Therefore, there were contentions raised that the RMEs were not properly conducted and allegations were raised. This court directs the setting apart of some of these vacancies.
Yes, Your Honor.
And a cut-off date was also put so that persons who come after that were not enabled to participate, were not enabled to file these applications or seek review RME. Then the list was published. The setting apart of the 242 vacancies was something which was not contemplated in your selection or in any of your rules.
Yes, Your Honor.
That could
Yes.
not have been contemplated.
Yes, there was
It
no
was
such-
it was an unforeseen circumstance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Therefore, those of the appointments which have already taken place, that according to me, I would say that they should remain without, unless there is some challenge raised on the ground that these people have got options which we wanted.
Yes.
Those are persons who have already been appointed.
Yes,
They've
sir.
accepted their appointments. Their appointments have crystallized. Many of them probably even their probations have started. Logically, it has gone on. Therefore, it is only because of orders passed by this court or some reservation done by you that these vacancies happen to be kept apart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if the entire selection has to be redone, like you said, it will create a complete
Chaos.
chaos.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, can't you take a decision that it is because of these orders that the vacancies have to be kept apart? Therefore, let the selection as far as it has been completed till from the list which was published on 28/1, let that be finalized. And these vacancies which they have, as a matter of fact, when you say that these people now will steal a march, they have lost a year
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
because of the
Lost
orders of this
seniority
court,
also.
because of interventions. They've lost a year. It is probably partly on their behalf also. All these persons who have also, all these persons who did not come before this court seeking RME or whatever, they have also lost a year. Therefore, to say that they are getting a better position than the persons who have been appointed to the other vacancies may not be correct.
Yes.
Therefore, for the 242 vacancies, why don't you go on the basis of the persons who are now available in the list, who have qualified and who meet the requirements, and on their options.
And one more submission adding.
Unless there is let us work on that so that it is workable.
My lord,
Otherwise, how else can we?
one more submission on that. Adding to my
Just a
lord's,
moment, just a moment.
Adding to my lord's view. In fact, when this 242 vacancies were kept apart, this situation is not arose
Exactly.
immediately. It was there at the time when this order was passed. They didn't object. They didn't brought to the notice of this honorable court about
Of
all.
course they did. Of course they did. They had pointed out that this will create a
that-
situation.
That order
This
was
spec- Yes, this was specifically pointed out.
May I make a submission because I should remind you about. No, my lords, let me make that. Let me permit you to make that submission.
Both of us know.
I know, my lords has. I just would like to clarify that part. My lords, the stay, the absolute stay was passed by Justice Devin Ramachandran in the matter when I moved the matter in my matter. It was modified on the request of the CDC. On the request of CDC, I objected. I objected at that same point saying if this is kept apart, when at the time of allocation it become trouble, then it was said, no, we'll finish the matter at the earliest and it is at the request of CGC. If my friend, Advocate Srihari objects to what is said. Yes.
I'm only saying that when the interim orders were passed on
Yes.
21st or on whatever
Around that
day,
time.
then also the CGC had pointed out that this will create a situation where, yes, of course they had.
Yes.
When the
It was Srihari.
Yes.
I remember
My lord-
the CGC
My
making
lord,
this
Srihari requested this 200 vacancies to be kept apart.
correct.
Only after.
It was pointed out that this would happen. It would create.
I pointed it out. It was me who pointed it out.
No. It was pointed out by the CGC that this problem would arise, but because that was the only way we could have done it at that stage. Because by the time the order had already been rendered, the interim stay had already been modified. The stay
No,
of appointment had already been modified.
Interim order was modified by my lords in that matter. The absolute stay was given by Justice David Ramchandran because it is my matter and my because I objected saying if the absolute stay is taken away, the next time when it comes for allotment, it become a trouble. That is when I said we'll finish the matter off at the earliest, hence it will not be a problem. But what transpired, my lords, right now, there need not be a confusion about the RME candidates who have been successful. They have got the appointments. My lords, there is a confusion that is happening right now in the court.
They were who were included in the first list itself.
No, my lords, the candidates who are successful in RME right now, after my lord's order, and even in the appeal, all of them have got appointments.
Okay. So it is only the rest of the persons who.
Yes, rest of the vacancies are only in.
What is the rest? That rest, no, that is my lords. What transpired is, at the time of filing,